Hi guys! Today all the products used will be listed in the description box below. And that is the Golden Pumice gel or paste. I'm actually not sure if it's considered a gel or a paste, but it's basically like a structure paste with coarse grain pumice, grainy like pumice in it. So there's definitely a coarse texture. It sounds like when you butter toast that has gone too long in the toaster. Really crunchy on the canvas. Actually, it's kind of ASMR-y, truthfully. I thought, oh gosh, someone would actually love this. I'm just trying to build some structure on this 16-inch round canvas. I have never done mixed media like this before, you guys, never. So I am totally and completely out of my element. This is the golden hard molding paste, and that's just a heat gun. And, I'm just trying to dry that a little bit. I want to remind you guys to support your favorite artists and, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, all the social media. I'm Heather Mader Art. If you share to your Pinterest, share to your Instagram, find me on Instagram and tag me in your posts, or on Facebook, post me on your timelines. All of those things help build my dreams of becoming an artist full-time. That's kind of been put on hold with some of my situation, but I still have hope that that will actually happen, and I do believe that it will. So, it's in the plan. I feel like it's in my plan in life, so it's gonna happen, and that's just what I say. So that is what will happen, and how that goes. So on the right side here, I reformed that a little bit, and I'm just kind of building, some little coarse texturing on that side. And then on the left side is where I use most of the hard molding paste, and I do that on its own. So it kind of offers two different textures. The right side has the coarse grainy texture, and then the left side has like a smooth, very buttery sort of frosting look to it. And I just used my little palette knife and just built a little structure there. Now I let it dry for 24 hours, and it's extremely hard. Just so you know, you guys, I'm not going to talk through this whole video. It's like 27 minutes long. And if you can believe it, this took a long time, days of coming back to it again and again. So I did my best to pare it down to a reasonable time. So you're welcome to fast forward through anything. I'm just gonna pop in here and there to share with you some of the colors I used. I used golden nickel azo gold on that, and the yellow undertone that you see right there is the yellow ochre, and those are both just the golden fluids. And I'm kind of just doing a wash. I want to bring out the textures of that structure paste. So anywhere that you see me a line appearing, it's because that structure paste was there that I put on with my palette knife, and created some really interesting effects right there. And I love the rust color, but that nickel azo gold, you guys already know, is probably one of my most favorite colors by Golden. Just love it. And not a color I would have ever chosen in my real life, so it's pretty cool. I want to say thanks so much to my supporters, you guys. It's these kind of little donations that help me bring more art videos to you. So when you support my channel, you just go to the link in my description box to my PayPal, and even tiny small $5, $10, even small donations help. And I do appreciate the big donations too, but every little bit helps. Now look at this cheap paint, and So thank you, Dick, by the way. Dick sent me this paint. It's called Cheep. That's the brand name, Cheep, and, you know, like a little baby chicken, Cheep. Well, he said he really liked this black, and so I decided to try it, and when I put it on here, I totally freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Because I really thought I had ruined it, and look at how hard it was to come up. So I worked and worked and worked to get some of that beautiful rust color coming back through, and actually it created the most dramatic effects putting that black over the top and then rubbing off the top layer. You basically bring out the under layer of that nickel azo gold. So one thing I did want to say, you guys, is this whole experience brought out the feeling I had when I first started doing fluid art, and that is, oh my gosh, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And it really forced me to try to let go in a way I haven't done for a long time, because I am somewhat comfortable with the fluid paints and pour painting, as you say. And so, even though I do let the paint still kind of direct me, this was totally out of my element, and I was completely at the mercy of my creativity and imagination, because I don't really know what I'm doing, and I don't really know how things are going to turn out. And so, of course, I watch a few videos on mixed media, but, everybody has such an individual style. It's just impossible to really, quote unquote, copy somebody. So I took some inspiration from a few different videos and held my breath. Well, or I should say I breathed and then just started going at it. So it's really fun. I'm just going to let you watch for a minute, and then I have a story I want to tell you. So as I continue to add in colors and subtract colors and paint in highlights, and I'm using all different sorts of tools to remove paint, including a towel, a sponge, baby wipes, my fingers, paper towel, and they all kind of have a different texture to them and leave a different texture. So I wanted to do a close-up so you could see, look at all the stunning texture in that piece, you guys, down the center. So then I started adding some highlights. I used the Tiger's Eye Primary Elements mixed with the PolyPour blend from Primary Elements, from a Colourarte. And it just added the most beautiful highlights all over that centerpiece. And then music came. For many of you may not know, I'm a classically trained flautist. Allegretto. Allegretto, that means extremely lively. And yeah, although it's off camera, I almost burned myself on this pretty bad. So I cut that part out so you didn't have to see it. It was pretty sad. But yeah, I just wanted to give the kind of like a burned out look around that little piece of music paper. And then I used the Decoart Decoupage matte medium, and I just put a little bit on the canvas and then went all around the edges with the matte medium to smooth out the edges. And you know, these are all products I've never used before, you guys, so I have really no idea how it's going to turn out, but it says dries clear and translucent. So my hope is that it's acting kind of like a decoupage or something. I mean, I've definitely done that, you know, where you take the strips of newspaper and then you dip them in like the, you know, when you're a kid and you do that kind of stuff and you dip them in like this flour water mixture and then you build them around a balloon or something and you make like a bowl. I remember doing those things, and anyway, my hope is that this is going to stick the paper to the canvas, which it did a very good job, and I'm hoping it dries clear, which it actually also did as well. I wanted to tell you guys a story. Someone asked me, a patron of mine asked me the other day, how I got started into painting. And, you know, when I get brave enough, I do have a video where I was interviewed by another YouTuber, and they posted that out there for the world to see, and I have just not shared it on my channel. And but it's, you know, me in all my glory talking about how much I love art and painting and everything. But, you know, I had a great art teacher in high school. He was an extremely powerful inspiration and motivator. His name was Mr. Polson, Mr. Jeff Polson, and my heart goes out to him. He absolutely inspired me to become the person that I am today. And that's where my earliest beginnings started. So I have to say thank you to him for all the inspiration, always encouraging me and never discouraging me to not just completely be myself. And I think that was, it's really important. So you guys can see, like, I wanted that music to kind of blend in, I would say, a little bit more. So I didn't want it to look like it was a separate entity from the rest of the painting. So I did cover it with some of the same yellow ochre that I had used in the center. And then I just took some white paint to bring some highlights back in, clean up the look of the canvas a little bit. I had got some ashes on there from burning the paper, and basically just do a little bit of defining with the white. So that's what I'm doing. And then I take my palette knife and I'm just using some plain white paint, and I'm just adding some more structures, some more definitions, some more interests on the canvas. And I'm really thinking about composition now. So that's one of the things that I'm focusing on, I guess I would say. But to continue my story, I, as some of you may or may not know, I was very sick for a long time. And I mean sick as in, pretty much debilitated with an autoimmune disorder, and was in bed and unable to do a lot of things that most people take for granted, like showering. I mean, I could shower, but then it would take all my energy for the day. Or I had to choose basic life things like showering, dressing. The amount of pain I was in was incredible. Well, I went through a long healing process, and it was a series of everything you can imagine, from herbs, vitamins, meditation, getting rid of toxic people in my life. Falling in love helped a lot, and my partner at the time was absolutely amazing and really helped me heal myself. Diet changes helped significantly, and exercise. I started swimming, just everything you can imagine. And in 2 years' time, I began to climb out of this hole and get my disease manageable. And for the first time, I remember waking up, and it was just about a year ago, a little over a year ago. I just remember waking up and I'm like, oh, I think I have more energy. I could actually do something. And I felt a shift in me, because I've been wanting to paint again for a long, long time. And I painted a little bit in my 20s, a little bit in high school, a little bit in my 20s, and then I just kind of stopped when I opened my own business. So I suddenly had this little bit of energy every day that I didn't have before. Even after I did basic things like my job and showering and dressing and things like that, cleaning. And I thought, I am not getting any younger. I want to paint. And I've been wanting to paint forever. And I am going to do it, because life is short and I want to paint again. So I just started very simply. And I saw someone pour paint from a cup, and I thought, that looks so easy. There is no way that I cannot do that. And I know that every single one of you, every single one listening that has ever done acrylic pouring, had the same thought, was like, oh, I could do that. That looks easy. Oh my gosh. If we only knew the science and complicated nature of it, yeah, I had no idea it was that hard. And then once I started doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to let this is pouring paint from a cup. I'm not going to let this beat me, And I just became absolutely determined to figure this out. And that is how I started painting, you guys. And I started sharing my work on Facebook, and after I started sharing it, people were like, oh, you should make a video so we can see how you do it. And I said, you know what? I don't have any equipment. I don't have any money for equipment. And someone said, well, start a fundraiser. And if you raise the funds to do it, then you should do it. Oh my gosh, y'all. I started a fundraiser for my equipment, and I raised the money in like 3 weeks. So, I actually had to follow through. It was crazy. So then I followed through. And that is how my channel started. Of course, I also had some little angels of inspiration along the way, and they know who they are, but that's how I started, you guys. And it's been about a year, a little over a year now. And it's pretty amazing, all that's happened in a year. And I have this channel, and I sell probably 60 or 70% of my art, and I have a presence on social media, which I never was a social media person, so that's been a challenge for me. And I get to share my art with so many people, and I've built so many beautiful relationships and some friendships, and it's been so healing. I really feel like it's been part of my healing journey, and that everything happened for a reason. So I'm really blessed today, you guys. So I'm spraying water on my canvas. I'm trying to create a wash, and I use the manganese blue hue and turquoise and the primary elements that I mixed with the PolyPour from Colourarte. I want to create a wash, but see how it catches as the water drips along with the pigment, and it catches every line that was created with the structure paste. And so there's just tons of interest being built here. And so it's kind of exciting to do this. My plan was to counteract the yellow and the gold and the rust colors with some of the vibrant, cool tones of the blue. So that's why I did that. And then I figured anywhere that the blue would, maybe run into some of the yellow, it would turn green. And that actually did not happen. I think it was too dry already, but yeah, I'm trying to build more interest, and just basically that's the turquoise that I'm going to use on the other side. So I used different tones and different colors. Now, I don't know why my camera did not pick this up, but that turquoise does have like a green undertone. It's totally pretty, and in none of the photographs, including the ones I took at the end, pick up this little slight green undertone, and I'm not sure why, but it is really, really pretty the way that actually turned out. So now I'm just going to spray some more water on there to create more interest and a wash. Now I'm going back in with just white and just a really light layer of white on my brush. And I am smoothing out some of the edges. See, I'm just running my brush along there. And because the paint is a little bit damp, it just gives a smoothing effect. And the white also adds some highlights to areas that I feel it got oversaturated with the pigments. And then, you know, there's some areas I just wanted to brighten back up and draw the eye in. So I went back and did that. And then I also used, you can see I'm just picking up some of the turquoise and incorporating it into the painting in all different places. Pardon me. And, you know, doing this creates a highlights and lowlights, shadows and depth. And I kept going like this for quite some time. Now, thanks guys for letting me tell my story. And it's always fun to share with you a little bit more about my art, and that's definitely a huge piece of it for me, was a healing process that occurred, and I feel like it continues as I go through this process of sharing and creating and discovering and trying new things. And this mixed media piece was a huge challenge for me mentally. I kept at this for like another hour, and I kept adding and adding, and then I painted the edges of the canvas with primary elements. So remember, it started like this, if you can remember, and then I added all the colors, and then I added paper and textures, and that is the final piece, you guys. Here it is in bright sunlight. See, you can see all the metallics shimmering. It has a lot of different textures in there, and I think overall, isn't that pretty? And you could hang this any direction, honestly. I think it looks great like that as well. And overall, this piece just has a ton of interest in it. And I'm really pleased with the first project of mine, and I'm gonna do more. I'm definitely gonna do more. And I'm still gonna pour too, so don't worry. But thanks so much for watching me on this journey, you guys. And I cannot wait to make more art videos just for you.